Fan Bingbing, once among China's highest-paid actresses, starred in the 2014 Hollywood blockbuster X-Men: Days of Future Past. In 2018, she faced widespread scrutiny for allegedly using yin-yang contracts to evade taxes. In China's film industry, production companies often use yin-yang contracts, dual agreements with inflated star salaries, to evade taxes, funnel investment funds into private accounts, or transfer money overseas. With the rapid growth of China's entertainment industry, stars like Fan Bingbing have seen their salaries soar due to their massive fan bases and commercial potential. To navigate the Chinese Communist Party's unique ideological environment, China's entertainment industry has developed exaggerated standards. In Hollywood, Japan, or South Korea, actors' salaries typically account for 10 to 30% of a film's budget. But in China, this often exceeds 50%, sometimes reaching over 75%. Fan Bingbing's Yin-yang contract case was a landmark event. Accused of concealing 60 million RMB in income through these contracts, she faced an 880 million RMB fine from the CCP's tax authorities and was ordered to pay all overdue taxes. In 2021, actress Zheng Shuang, less famous than Fan Bingbing, was implicated in a similar tax evasion scandal involving yin-yang contracts, with amounts reaching hundreds of millions of RMB. Both actresses were banned by the CCP's National Radio and Television Administration, vanishing from the entertainment industry and CCP-controlled media. Tax evasion was not the sole reason for their harsh penalties. It was merely the CCP's public-facing excuse. In reality, regulators cracked down on exorbitant salaries and opaque financial practices while tightening oversight of large capital flows, especially cross-border transactions in the film industry. The unspoken but critical motive was to curb money laundering via yin-yang contracts. Yin-yang contracts are a common method for money laundering and tax evasion in China's entertainment industry, particularly in high-budget films and TV shows. The yang contract, filed with tax authorities at a lower amount, meets regulatory requirements to mask the real deal, while the secret yin contract details the actual high fees for fund allocation. Investment funds are often disguised as service fees, actor fees, consulting fees, or post-production costs through yin-yang contracts, paid to stars or related companies. These funds may be laundered or moved to personal accounts via shell companies, related transactions, or cross-border transfers, achieving money laundering, tax evasion, or fund misappropriation while evading oversight. While media aggressively cover Fan Bingbing's tax evasion through yin-yang contracts, the CCP remains silent on allegations of production companies using these contracts for money laundering. The 2018 Chinese war drama Airstrike, with Mel Gibson as art director and creative supervisor and Fan Bingbing in a supporting role, had a reported budget of 500 million RMB, roughly $65 million US dollars. Whistleblowers claim the Shanghai pension fund alone invested over 1 billion RMB, yet the film was only released overseas, earning a mere 520,000 US dollars at the box office. Suspicions are rife that certain individuals, including some CCP Shanghai officials, used the film to launder pension funds meant for ordinary citizens, pointing to potential criminal activity. The film industry, with its short production cycles, high capital demands, and complex opaque payment methods, is hard to regulate and costly to monitor, making it a primal channel for money laundering and capital flight. However, yin-yang contracts are a simplistic method with limited scale, moving only small sums. Larger, systemic money laundering is often achieved through buying fake box office earnings. The practice of buying fake box office earnings traces back to the 1970s Hong Kong cinema, where triad groups like Sun Yee-on realized they could launder money by inflating box office receipts and production costs, legitimizing illicit funds. As cultural exchanges between Hong Kong and mainland China deepened, this method spread to the Chinese market, implicating CCP officials. For instance, Zheng Qinghuai, brother of former Politburo Standing Committee member Zheng Qinghong and former special inspector for the CCP's Ministry of Culture in Hong Kong, has been accused of deep involvement in such activities. Research indicates that buying fake box office earnings typically involves the following methods. On March 4, 2016, the Hong Kong film Ip Man 3 premiered in China and grossed over 500 million RMB in just 4 days. However, the film was accused of buying box office earnings. Screenshots from theaters began circulating online, showing the movie being shown at unusual times, such as early morning and midnight showings, with up to 10 screenings per hour, each ticket priced at 203 RMB. In the case of Ip Man 3, official CCP investigations confirmed that many screenings were falsified. Over 7,600 fake screenings were uncovered, accounting for 32 million RMB in box office revenue. The film's total earnings also included 56 million RMB from tickets bought by the production company itself. In 2015, the movie Monster Hunt set a record for Chinese films, earning 2.4 billion RMB. To surpass Fast and Furious 7 and break box office records, one of its co-producers, the film company Edco Films, resorted to public welfare screenings. They announced that 29 cinemas across 17 cities would host free screenings, with the company covering the cost and offering tickets to select groups. Investigations by some internet users and professional institutions revealed strange patterns following these screenings. Audiences reported that theaters ran Monster Hunt non-stop from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m., marking all seats as full and restarting screenings every 15 to 20 minutes. In reality, these screenings were ghost showings with no viewers in attendance. The scale of buying fake box office earnings in China's film industry is believed to be significant. Industry experts estimate that between 9% and 40% of box office figures in China may be manipulated or falsified. Since 2010, China's film box office has experienced dramatic highs and lows, with total box office revenue reaching 547.6 billion RMB. In 2019, the box office hit a record 64.3 billion RMB, the highest in recent years. If we estimate that 25% of the total earnings are impacted by fake box office earnings, this amounts to at least 130 billion RMB. This shows that, as a systemic money laundering tool, the scale of funds involved in buying fake box office earnings far exceeds the money laundering capacity of yin-yang contracts. While the Chinese Communist Party is highly wary of money laundering, especially large-scale transfers abroad, corrupt officials within the party continue to engage in these activities. As of 2023, CCP state media claims the party has approximately 96 million members, nearly 100 million, covering key sectors like government, military, and state-owned enterprises. This vast, corrupt group primarily consists of high-ranking officials and executives who hold real power and resources. In other words, the CCP's corrupt officials and their intermediaries control most of China's gray market. These officials often use underground banks or overseas casinos to launder the wealth they have amassed from the public. Former Deputy Chief Engineer of China's Ministry of Railways, Zhang Shuguang, is accused of hiding $2.8 billion overseas, reportedly laundering the funds through underground banks. In 2013, former Shanxi Province Work Safety Bureau head Yang Daicai earned the nickname Watch Brother for wearing expensive Swiss watches inconsistent with his income. An investigation revealed multiple Macau gambling trips, with suspicions of asset transfers via casinos, though amounts remained undisclosed. In 2018, former China Huarong Asset Management Chairman Lai Xiaomin was accused of transferring around 20 billion RMB in bribes through Macau casinos, partly via high roller rooms and underground banks. He was sentenced to death for corruption and money laundering. High roller rooms in major casinos, typically run by intermediaries like junket operators, offer high credit and discreet services, easily obscuring fund origins. In 2017, Pacific Casino in Saipan reported a turnover of 385.8 billion Hong Kong dollars, underscoring the vast scale of casino money laundering. During Wang Qishan's tenure leading the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, CCP officials were banned from gambling in Macau, with violators facing expulsion or prosecution. The anti-corruption drive pushed Macau to tighten oversight of intermediaries, including stricter AML measures in 2016 and closing high roller rooms in 2022 under revised gambling law. Yet, violations persist and online gambling is thriving. In 2019, Economic Information Daily reported that Macau tycoon Alvin Chow's Sun City Group funneled over 1 trillion RMB, about 145 billion US dollars, annually from mainland China via online gambling and agents. Arrested in 2021 for illegal cross-border gambling and money laundering, Chow received an 18-year sentence on 289 charges, though money laundering wasn't proven. Notably, this reflects one company's annual take. Of the 1 trillion RMB in gambling funds, how much was laundered by CCP officials through casinos? We lack a precise answer but can offer a reference. The 2013 U.S. Congressional Executive Commission on China report estimated Macau casinos laundered $20.2 billion US dollars annually, partly linked to CCP officials, though no specific names or amounts were given. If online gambling were involved, this figure might be understated. Beyond physical and online casinos, the rise of decentralized cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin has provided CCP officials and wealthy Chinese a convenient new route to move assets overseas. Orange County, California, known for top school districts, low income, and a large Chinese community, draws many Chinese buyers. In 2014, 80% of Irvine's new homes were bought by Chinese, including young women with children, often seen as mistresses of CCP elites, with some Chinese American dubbing these areas Mistress Village. Recent data shows Chinese nationals spent $14 billion on U.S. real estate from April 2024 to March 2025, mostly in cash with no loans or mobile payments, a 82.6% surge from the prior year. According to the National Association of Realtors, Chinese buyers purchased a total of 11,700 homes, making them the largest group of foreign buyers in the U.S. The next largest group were from Canada, with 10,900 homes, followed by buyers from Mexico with 6,200 homes, and from India with 4,700 homes. The average price per home was around 1.2 million US dollars. California remains the top destination, accounting for 36% of the purchases, followed by Maryland and New York, each at 9%. Florida and Texas also showed significant activity. In 2015, the CCP launched the Fox Hunt and Skynet operations. However, by the end of 2020, only 2,075 fugitives have been returned, with 19.7 billion RMB recovered. Compared to the massive scale of funds fleeing the country, this amount is minuscule. The CCP is particularly concerned about large-scale money laundering, especially when it involves funds being moved overseas, as it poses a comprehensive threat to its economy, political stability, and international image, and national security. Money laundering leads to widespread corruption, capital flight, and economic losses, but most importantly, it threatens the CCP's hold on power. One of the main reasons the CCP is eager to launch the digital yuan, ECNY, is to monitor the flow of funds and prevent capital flight. By utilizing blockchain technology, it can track and control corruption and large-scale money laundering, thus safeguarding its economic security and political stability. In 2020, the digital yuan pilot program was launched in Shenzhen, Suzhou, and other cities. By June of the following year, the pilot had expanded to 26 provinces and cities, with a transaction volume of 7 trillion RMB and over 500 million digital yuan wallets were in use. The rush to introduce digital currency stems from its traceability. Every transaction is recorded in the central bank's database, reducing anonymity. It also allows for controlled anonymity, where small transactions can remain anonymous, but larger transactions require real names, making it easier to monitor. By tracking cross-border transactions in real time and identifying unusual fund movements, the CCP hopes to reduce the appeal of underground banks. Traditional cash transactions are highly anonymous, but digital yuan offers full traceability. Beyond surveillance, the digital yuan also carries a more drastic potential measures, the ability to wipe out personal assets with a press of a button. When a person's wealth is stored digitally, the CCP can seize bank deposits, investments, and securities with a few keystrokes, leaving the individual with nothing. Under the CCP's 2006 Personal Foreign Exchange Management Regulations, the annual foreign exchange limit for individuals is 50,000 US dollars. But in practice, this regulation has been largely ineffective. In 2015, Huayi Brothers Media chairman Wang Zhongjun brought Picasso's 1948 painting Seated Woman with a Hair Bun for $29.9 million at Sotheby's New York Impressionist and Modern Art Evening Sale. Bidders at Sotheby's must meet qualification, account, and funding criteria, with high-value items requiring additional proof like bank guarantees or deposit certifications. The 50,000 USD annual limit makes overseas accounts with ample USD essential for such transactions. As Huayi Brothers' largest individual shareholder and chairman, Wang Zhongjun, needed to convert vast sums into USD and transfer them overseas, a process we've outlined earlier. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Compared to this, Bingbing's Yin-yang contracts are minor tricks. For the CCP, any economic drain, even a minor act, is intolerable, making the severe punishment and bans on figures like Bingbing unsurprising. Unless China sheds its communist yoke or dismantles the CCP's ideological and power structures, such nightmares will drag the nation into deeper darkness. Donald Trump's rise and stunning re-election in US politics may offer modern Chinese a valuable lesson. Only those brave enough to reject communists outright can break free and secure a truly bright future.